Hey Thomas, welcome to Kapow. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And again, thank you for helping to spread the word on our 25th anniversary American Pie screening with movie nerds. I've seen your reposts on Instagram every time we put something up, so you're awesome. Thank you.
No problem at all. I wish I could be there to attend.
We'll have to just do one in France now that you're living there. Is that a secret? Is now and no one's supposed to know you've fleed the down under.
Yeah, no, a few people know. We've started a separate French page as well, but that's a bit slower to get up and running.
Well, I might be doing a Comic-Con in France, so we'll stay in touch. And if I
definitely
wind up there, or my band ends up playing there with my buddy Aaron Jones, we'll have to hang.
You've played a lot of real life figures in film, Frank Sinatra Jr., Walt Disney. How does the acting process change when you're playing a real person?
Well, it means that all of my homework is sort of done for me. I just have to research it and find it. So versus playing a character that I'm creating and I get to generate a backstory that serves the purpose of the narrative and helps, in my mind, define why they would make certain choices. In the highlight of playing a character like Walt Disney or Frank Sinatra Jr. or Abby Hoffman, then I just research, their history, and I get to sort of find out, what was their home life like? Where did they grow up? And it's all answered for me. So it's just a different form of research. And then, of course, there's like a hybrid moment where you have to write the backstory to be able to serve the narrative of the story as well. There's always a bit of creative license that they take when doing any kind of biopic.
This is how I feel. I haven't been unkind. I only tried to tell you what's the...
I call 2008 my first album. It's technically my fourth, which that doesn't even, I would lose count of how many albums I've done at this point, because then it would have to be, I had one that was the lockdown singles that I didn't make the seventh album. So really I say I've done 7 albums when I've done 11. And it's certainly evolved over the years from I'm still passionate about it, but it's not a passion project. It's become almost equal with my love of acting and now producing films. I have a lot of fun, and it's a vastly different experience to do something live, because you can't really capture that in a recording. Whereas all of my acting stuff I feel like it's made in the post-production process. It's made in the edit, and you can lose or improve a performance. Whereas the live stuff of being on stage and having that experience with people that are at the show, even your memory of it isn't quite as good as the moment that it happens. It started out with just having a creative outlet to write my own stories versus portraying stories that were written for me, and that became, at the time, we didn't call it, worrying about your mental health, but it was sort of that for me back in the 90s. I think, especially if you listen to like 90s music and grunge, it was all pretty sad and depressing. So yeah, that's how it kind of started. And yeah, it's now I think it's just good to be diversified in the creative outlets, from the standpoint of acting or producing or performing and recording music. So I can't draw, so that's not in my cards.
You attend a lot of conventions in the States. Are you a little bit of a geek yourself, or have you had any fan moments when you've attended the cons?
Have you not seen my video of my haircut with my lightsaber? If that doesn't answer everything you need to know about my geekdom, then I don't know what does, because prior to the prequels coming out and the sequels coming out of Star Wars, back before Star Wars was, marketed everywhere, I'm pretty sure my friends bought me a Millennium Falcon on my 16th birthday. A little bit too old to be playing with toys, but I still was a Star Wars nerd, and I still am. And now that I've got these amazing new replica lightsabers, my kids and I have been battling every night.
When you've attended the cons, have you met any Star Wars guests or anything like that?
Yeah, I've met a lot of the Star Wars guests, some who are now, not with us anymore, that were incredible people. Yeah, I do a lot of cons in the States. I've even gotten to go over to Europe and and the UK. It's one of those things where, when I started doing them about 12 years ago, at first I was like, well, why would they want anything to do with me? I'm super into, Star Wars or superhero or comic book related items, but I haven't done any of those as an actor. And there was sort of this shift about 12 years ago where they kind of started allowing more pop culture into the Comic-Con events. Henceforth, American Pie and Rookie of the Year, although in the UK they don't really know what Rookie of the Year is, but you do in Australia. And so it's become much more acceptable now to go and do them in and amongst working. So now it used to be the thing where like, oh, you're doing Comic-Cons, I guess you must not be acting anymore, to where now like you have to have another job to even get into some of these Comic-Cons. But it's a great opportunity to meet people that enjoy my work and have that one-on-one conversation that you wouldn't get to have anywhere else. Not even if you spot someone, on the street somewhere, you're not going to want to bug them for too long. Or if you go like to a premiere event, you might be one in a crowd, but you get that one-on-one moment at a Comic-Con that I think is really cool.
Do you have a most bizarre question you've been asked by a fan?
Bizarre? I feel pretty fortunate. I've been a part of, for example, the American Pie movies. I didn't really have to do too many of the crazy things, so the commentary that I get is pretty normal. I just try to focus on the experience that the person's having, kind of, in my mind, thinking, if I was in their position, what would I want my moment to be if I was waiting in line to meet someone that I enjoy their work? And so I just focus on that. So I guess if there is a bizarre question, I sort of just move on to the next moment and try to make it as normal as possible and try not to make anyone, feel weird. Because, look, I still get nervous when I meet people who, I've grown up watching. And, I've said things that I'm like, oh man, really? That was the best line I could come up with? I mean, I remember meeting Tom Cruise in England at this, we were hanging out one night at this big party, and I, of course, got the chance to meet him. And I blurt out, oh, my name's Tom, too. I'm like, really? That's my intro line? Like, I'm getting to meet Tom Cruise, and I'm like, my name's Tom also.
We're celebrating the 25th anniversary of American Pie. Do you think in today's climate that he'd even be able to make a movie like that?
I get asked this question a lot, but I don't know why I ended up... I think I was researching, like, trying to spark my own memory with things that I could talk about at some of these Q&As, because I've been doing a lot of American Pie emo nights with my band as well, and I'll be doing that in Australia in and amongst these 25th anniversary screenings. And it came to my attention, we technically couldn't make the movie then either. And for some reason, everyone's very focused on the fact that we couldn't do it now, but we also couldn't do it then. So nothing much has changed. We were pushing the envelope, and it took a lot for the film to even get dumbed down to an R rating and not be an NC-17. Could we make it now? Well, yeah, because we couldn't make it then, and we did. So I think there's an absolute possibility, and that's sort of the whole point, is to... especially with comedy, is you are supposed to push the envelope and say the thing that runs through your mind for a quick second. You go, oh, no, I couldn't possibly say that. That's the basis of comedy. I mean, when we go and see a stand-up comedian, they say that thing, and it's that shock humor value of like, oh, no, they didn't. And that was everything that American Pie did for, a teen comedy. And I think we're not teens anymore, but we could still do that again.
I love you. Okay.
The desperation.
What exactly does it feel like? Warm apple pie.
The fascination.
One of the anchor dates of me coming out to Australia that I haven't been to since visiting my family in 1990. We're there on Friday, January 31st at the Orpheum Theatre, and then we are doing Friday, February 7th in Melbourne at the Astor Theatre. And these are the 25th anniversary screenings hosted by movie nerds with VIP meet and greets available. And in and amongst all of that, I'm going to be playing shows with my band, doing an American Pie emo night in Gold Coast, and doing some DJ sets and lots of fun other things. So, at Tin Band is my handle and website domain. You can find what cities I'm going to be in. I'm still finalizing certain things, but very, very excited because I've been trying to put together a tour in Australia for years and years and years. So it looks like it's finally coming together, and I'm stoked.